Rangasamida, Om Shanti, peace to you, peace to me. Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'd like to talk about the facade of today's society. The facade. Facade just means front. The veil, as it were. You know, apocalypse means unveiling. Unveiling, that's what's happening today in today's world. We're unveiling the facade of today's society. So I'm just going to take UK, but it's very relevant to America as well. So we're born into a system and we're given a national insurance number and we're given a name, all in capitals. It's all in capitals. So we are flesh and blood human beings, spiritual in nature. We're divine consciousness having a human experience, and we're being turned into these capital letters, which is our straw man. Not you, it's your straw man. So the thought behind this is that you, in natural law, you cannot really force people to do things they don't want to do. And you can't coerce them, and you can't mislead them, corrupt them. Also, you shouldn't be doing any of that in natural law. You shouldn't be doing anything with that. But when you create the straw man, little straw man, it's just a piece of paper. You can do anything you want with that. So the straw man, you can make them have to get licenses for things. So you cannot live a free life. You need to get a license. So in order to watch television in this country, you need to buy a license. If you want to have a car, you need to buy a license for your car. You need to have a company. Now they're starting to get licenses for companies. They're going to be doing that for pets, virtually everything that you own. And then finally you won't own anything, because if you look at your car registration documents, it says you are the registered keeper of the car. You don't own the car, even though you think you bought it, you got the receipt and everything. Ah, this is my car, look at it. You're the registered keeper. And you can write to your police station, your politician, who owns this car? And they won't tell you. They won't tell you who owns it. They won't tell you that your straw man is not you. It's just it's the straw man. It's what you attach to in your human being as a human being. And it goes all the way back to 1666 when they issued an act of parliament. It's an act. All of this is an act. It's a theatre that we're watching, and we get sucked into it as human beings. So it's an act, and you're playing out this act that we're actually dead unless we proclaim ourselves to be alive. It's an act. It's all an act. There's brilliant videos in all of this, about all of this. There's a little cartoon called The Straw Man, and watch that and just look at it and then do your own research. Go into that. I don't want to talk about all of this too much. Go into each individual section of this. But also the facade of today's society is the City of London is not part of this country. It's not part of this country. It's its own sovereign individual state within this country, so it's not part of it. It has its own government, mayor system, it has its own councillors, and the reason for that was when the City of London was first starting to grow. It was getting bigger and bigger, and the population was all starting to come into London, and they used to have their meetings on the town corner, on one of the corners, and they used to have their democracy there, where they used to discuss what was best for the people of the City of London. And then the City of London started to get suburbs outside of the city, like Southwark and Westminster, these other suburbs around the City of London. And the City of London said, no, we want to keep our own independent state, because we realise when democracy gets bigger, you lose control of your life. Very true, you lose control of your life. The European Union in this country is an amazing example. When you want to say, hang on a minute, there's something wrong with this, who do I go to? Oh, you have to go over to Europe. You try and ring them up, email them, and get nothing back. So you completely lose your democracy. You cannot say what you want to say because it's too big and too bureaucratic. So the City of London, the people who set up the City of London knew this, and they kept their democracy small. And it's also got the Bank of England in there, which is the printing press. The Bank of England is not a public bank. It's a private bank. It has shareholders. I don't know, when I was researching it, it had shareholders, private shareholders who you didn't know who were the shareholders, I should say. The only clue that we've had, I think it was Bill Cash who said about this, the only clue that we've had is a film that Prince Edward made, and he actually said that William of Orange had shares in the Bank of England. So we live in a private central banking system, which the Bank of England is a big part of. Issues currency out of thin air. There's nothing backing it anymore. It used to be sterling in this country. There's nothing backing it anymore. We have to pay that money back by going out and working, and then also we have to pay interest on that. Good job if you can get it. And the City of London, to make sure that the Commons never vote or never has any bills against the City of London, they have a remembrancer sitting there behind the speaker. Look it up if you don't believe me. Behind the speaker, making sure that nothing goes against the City of London. I wouldn't mind them being in Parliament doing that for me. Honestly, I wouldn't mind that. If I really believed that they were truly representing the good of the people of the community, then I wouldn't mind that. But politics is so broken and such a facade now. It's a joke. There's no such thing as democracy. You live. I love the joke where it doesn't matter who you vote for, you're always going to get the government. How true is that? And can you control who's in that government? No. The parties are all infiltrated. I did look into politics about 8-9 years ago, when I first discovered the European Union and what that was really all about, and realised, oh my goodness me, this is such a massive compromise for everything. But the wrong kind of compromise. It was just so dirty and corrupted, and you see how certain parties had certain elements to them, and on the ground level there was almost violence involved with it. It's a facade, so they all stand there, blah 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 blah. It doesn't matter what they're saying. Doesn't really matter what they're saying. Blah 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 blah. It's all going to be saying, well, this is all going to be good for you. Behind them is this corruption to the extreme. That system has failed us. So still, the facade still stays up that we're living in a democracy when we're not. So the facades of our society are enormous. Let's look at one more. The meme that we have to be in war constantly. So there's always got to be a bogeyman. And the biggest bogeymen now are the 1 million Muslims, or whatever it is, on this planet, who are all being demonized because it was Islam or Muslim extremists who were behind 9/11 and 7/7, the two biggest terrorist attacks in our world that we've ever seen. Have you ever looked into 9/11? Have you really ever looked into the intricacies of 9/11 and the farce, absolute farce of the official story that came out from the government, and all the little things that they didn't even bother to put into the 9/11 report? It's a joke. James Corbett does a brilliant spoof on the official version of 9/11. Look at his channel up, the Corbett Report. He's very good at uncovering all these conspiracies and all this facade that we live under, and all the nitty-gritty behind it. I no longer really do that anymore, because I found it is really, there's so much better people now doing that. But I saw it from my own eyes at the NIST report, NIST, the safety in technology. They came up with 2 versions of why Building 7 collapsed, and both of them were thrown out. Complete garbage, rubbish. How can a high-rise building collapsed through fire. Never happened in human history, and never happened after that. It's never. Buildings don't do that, and buildings don't collapse because planes fly into them. There's a B-53 bomber. Look this up if you don't believe me. B-53 bomber flew into the Empire State Building. One of the engines, which is titanium, which they disappeared when they hit the Pentagon. They disappeared. So you just see the fuselage going through, and these titaniums evaporate, even though there was paper where the hole was on the Pentagon. It's like the Keystone Cops. And then you've got a B-53 hitting the Empire State Building, and the titanium, or the engine, wrecking the elevator shaft. Amazing, eh? So these are false flags, and the facade of our society tells us we have to do something. We've got to get these people who've done this to us. I tell you what, it's Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden was a CIA asset. He was working for the CIA. The bin Laden family, a lot of them were in New York at the time, and they all got flown out straight after the 9/11 attacks, and it's straight away on the TV, bin Laden, Osama bin Laden, Osama bin Laden. Surely, whoever was investigating that, FBI, CIA, whoever it is, I don't know, they should have detained the families of bin Laden to say, do you know where your brother is? Blah, blah, blah. No, they got them out of the country quickly. All sorts of weird things happening. It's a facade, it's a joke, it's an illusion, what has been put across to us with that. And therefore we've now got perpetual war in the Middle East. And families, for goodness sake, let alone the 3,000 people who died on 9/11 and the people who died on 7/7. Oh my goodness me, my heart goes out to them and their families. And some of their families are battling to get the truth out. Look it up. Unbelievable. Still battling to try and get the truth out. They're not conspiracy theories, they just want the truth. That's all they want. Now there's families being misplaced all over the Middle East with all these wars and all this terrible stuff that's happening, and there's not always the official armies of the country. Now they have mercenaries going in there, Blackwater and all these other things that are happening. It's all a facade, and really we all need to break through the facades of our society, because once you start to get to the truth, you can actually start to look at yourself and go, well, how much have I been sucked into this? How much do I believe in this garbage that's been fed to me? And how much can I release myself from this? And that's what this is all about, really, is releasing yourself from all this information that's been given to you, that you go, whoa, whoa, where did that take me? Because I remember when it first happened, I didn't see any of this. And I remember looking at Muslim people with a preconception now. Oh, I don't trust them. Now I have many Muslim friends, and they're adorable. They're going through the same process as all of us. Their religion, really, deep down, once they understand it, is polishing the mirror, cleaning themselves inside, unveiling the onion. And if your religion does that for you, brilliant. If it doesn't, it turns you into extremist. Really, check yourself up. Check yourself out. Focus on your heart. So the facade will suck you in, keep sucking you in, keep sucking you in, and they'll find the next thing to suck you in: consumerism, alcoholism, drug addiction. Suck you in, suck you in. It's all a facade. Your true self is where you're at, and find your true self. Look past the veil that's actually thrown over you, and you'll find some amazing things, and you'll start to free your mind of all of this. It's a bit shaky at first. I was a bit shaky when I first went through this information, went, oh, this can't be true, but it is. So find yourself, be the best version that you possibly can. And it's a little bit dark, this video, but it's true. It's a facade. Our society is a facade, and there's amazing people now who are breaking this down slowly. And it's not a big government conspiracy where they're all in it together. You start to speak to people in the government, and you start to get them to understand the deception that we've all been under. actually is moving in the right direction very, very slowly. More of us who wake up and speak out, the quicker this is going to happen. Simple as that. The more of us wake up and build our consciousness out, push our energies out, not getting fed by all this negative stuff, maybe archons feeding off of you, whatever. Get rid of all of that. Find your true self. Be you. Be beautiful. Be wonderful. Be magnificent. You can do it. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Sarang Hamida.